Week number 12 of the NFL season quickly winding down. I've got a number of complimentary plays for you to discuss. I'm going to take a look at the night game between the Eagles and the Packers, one of your mid-afternoon clashes between the 49ers and Saints, and the early game between the Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But first, guys, I've mentioned to you in the past that when I was much younger, I used to be a tremendous collector of sports memorabilia, but I stopped that years and years ago. But I recently sold my house outside of the Philadelphia area. For years, I had a bunch of this stuff stored, not at my house, but in my mom's basement because I had to put it somewhere. So recently, I had to start packing this stuff all up and moving it to another location. My son's not into sports at all, so I'm thinking at this point in my life, it's like, what the hell am I going to do with all this? So I thought I'd share some of it with you because, again, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with all this stuff. I haven't seen most of this stuff for like 40 years or so, maybe even longer. But anyways, I'm going through it. As a kid, for some reason, I loved Burt Jones and the Baltimore Colts. This thing looked like it just came off the store. I think my mom got it for me at Woolworths, a chain that's not even in business. 1972, huge fan of the Baltimore Colts. My favorite team, second favorite team, nope, not the Philadelphia Eagles, even though I grew up in that point. Ah, yes. Pittsburgh Steelers, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, loved the Steelers. These things, I mean, you could put them back on the wall, they're perfect. But my favorite team, growing up, the first team I followed in football when I was a kid, 1972, you got it, baby. There was no better team than the Miami Dolphins, as you can see. I think that was the second pennant I ever got because, listen, when you grew up in Philadelphia, in like the early 70s, did you really want to cheer for this team? No, nobody wanted to cheer for that team. Oh, I just realized autofocus is on. That's why this damn thing is going in and out of focus. But anyway, yes, I never really followed football, to be honest with you, till about 1972. And the only reason I did is because I was watching the Miami Dolphins then, who, of course, the undefeated season. And because somebody got me the NFL Action 1972. This was something that Sunoco gas stations put out at the time, and it was basically a sticker book. You could see I never finished the stickers because my grandfather worked for Atlantic gas stations at the time, which was the predecessor of Arco gas stations now. So we didn't go to Sunoco gas stations, but it was a sticker book, and you used to collect all the stickers. You'd get so much gas, and they'd give you this little collection of stickers, and you'd put them in the book, and you'd put them in, and they were coming in this, you get this nice little trader wallet. They give you these little stickers. I've got so many of these stickers. I probably have enough to finish the book. I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of these. I even have them in unopened packages. I just never bothered ever finishing the book. And you can probably get these on eBay too. I don't know if you can get the trader wallets. I don't know how I got it, but anyway, I got those. And then, if you're a collector, you know what these are. These little boxes, I think they hold about 700 cards. 31 of these filled to the brim with baseball cards, because that was my main bread and butter. 31 of these, plus I think 17 binders with cards, my best cards, in sleeves to protect them. I estimate that I probably moved 25,000 baseball cards, football cards. You know their value has gone up here recently. I'd like to just take them and just hey, give them to somebody and say, here, offer me a number. And please don't write into customer service, because years ago I mentioned this same thing and I started getting all these offers again. Again, my son could care less about sports. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with all this stuff. But anyway, let's get to I've got so much stuff. I'll show you other stuff as time goes on. I don't even know what I have anymore. Like I said, I haven't even looked at this stuff in 20, 30, so many years. Okay, let's go here in terms of point spread perspective. Home teams are coming into this week's action. 6 games under 500. And then, of course, on Thursday, we had 2 more home teams, however, covering as the Lions and the Vikings both got the job done. So those home teams now 4 games under 500 for the season. Favorites entered the week 19 games under the magical 500 mark. And dogs went 2-1 on Thursday, with the only favorite covering being the Vikings. So the Puppies are 21 games over 500 for the season, but everything is cyclical. Just keep that in mind. So the first game I want to break down, it's going to be the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. Why would you bet the Packers in this game? I know the Eagles, even though they've only lost one straight up, I know they have failed to cover their last 3 games. But have you seen anything from the Packers other than that miraculous second half comeback and overtime win against the Cowboys that would indicate that they are going to be able to be competitive in this game? I think the Eagles just need to be motivated sometimes, and I think they're going to be motivated by the Packers coming into this contest. They are 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 after losing badly to Tennessee last Thursday. They're 1-6 their last 7 straight up. They've averaged just 17.7 points on the season. They've averaged only 12.2 points on the road. Their defense has allowed 27 points or more in 5 of their last 7 games. Now, the Eagles have their warts. 4-1, however, against the spread at home. But that defense can't stop the run, although it did play much better with the 2 veteran defensive tackles that they added last week when they put the clamps on Jonathan Taylor at Indianapolis. But they've got to do a good job tonight, because obviously if you're the Packers, you're coming in here, you're going to give the ball to A.J. Dillon and to, help me here, guys. Yeah, like you're going to go, hey, Al, it's Aaron Jones. Yeah, give me that answer. Yell it through. Go ahead. Because you saw what Washington did a couple of weeks ago when they controlled the clock. They ran the ball something like 49 times and had a 40-minute time of possession. That's going to be the Packers' key to success here, because their greatest defense would be keeping Jalen Hurts off the field. Now, the Packers' pass defense isn't that good. They've got no pass rush ever since they lost their top edge rusher, Rashawn Gary, to a season-ending injury, but I like the Eagles here. I think the Eagles, by the way, will be able to run on the Packers tonight. You know, the Eagles were a run-heavy team the second half last season because they didn't really have a lot of confidence in Jalen Hurts. But with Hurts such a more accurate passer this season, they've kind of gotten away from that. But the opportunity is there tonight to run the ball, and I think the Eagles will do so. I think 6.5 is a bargain basement price for a team that should win this one by 10-13, so I like Philadelphia. Working back up the clock, I'm going to go with San Francisco -9 at home. I know it's a short week for the Niners coming off the Monday night blowout win against Mexico City. They have now won 3 in a row. Listen, they're a much more dynamic offensive team with Christian McCaffrey in the lineup. The Saints 0-4 against the spread on the road this season. And they're coming off a 27-20 win at home against the Rams. Big deal. It's an interesting thing with San Francisco. You know, you look at their 6 wins, and 5 of them have been by margins of 15 to 28 points. They either win big or they don't win at all. So I say win and stay home and go with San Francisco in this one. Oh, here's another game on the late card that I really do like a lot. The Seattle Seahawks, a team that I have been riding, if you had been watching the video reports I have been doing with Steve earlier this season, quite a bit, until they unfortunately lost in Munich to Tom Brady and Buccaneers because they fell down 14-0 early, and that meant that they couldn't go to the run game to set up the effective passing game that was led all year by Geno Smith. But they should be able to run today against the Raiders, and that is really key because Kenneth Walker III, since he became the starting running back, the rookie out of Michigan State, they have gone 4-1. Walker has played extremely well. I'm just looking up his stats here. I wrote him down and I can't remember what the hell it is, but he's been very efficient. And Geno Smith, of course, has been super here. 73% completions on the season, 2,400 yards, averaging 247 yards a game, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I like the Seahawks coming off the bye after that 21-16 loss in Germany to Tampa Bay. And again, the Raiders, they snapped that 5-game losing streak by beating the Broncos last week, but they always beat the Broncos seemingly. This is a team that's last in the league in sacks with just 13, so I think Geno Smith should have plenty of time. I think the weather works in favor of Seattle here. It's going to be kind of an ugly day, like most days in Seattle. There I go. The Seattle Tourism Bureau is not going to hire me as a representative. And cold, chilly, 70% chance of rain, low in the 40s. I'll go with Seattle -4. I'm going to buy down the half point on Seattle here. Of those two late afternoon games, I like Seattle even more than San Francisco. And then on the early card, could be a trap, but Baltimore minus 3.5 points, and I'm buying down the half point on the Ravens. Damn cheap price to take at Jacksonville. A Ravens team that has won 4 in a row, although I will admit last week's game, a lackluster 13-3 performance at home against the Panthers. But the Ravens have played much better on the road than they have at home, where they're 4-1 straight up and against the spread this season, compared to 1-5 against the spread at home. Go figure. The defense is rounding into form. They've only allowed 1 touchdown the past 2 weeks. The Jaguars 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games. They are the only team in the league with a positive point differential. They're plus 11, meaning they've scored 11 more points than they have allowed, but they've got a losing record. The only team in the league with that situation, as they're 3-7 straight up on the year. Jaguars are coming off the bye, but again, I like the way that Baltimore defense is playing. They sacked Baker Mayfield last week 4 times. Intercepted him twice. Trevor Lawrence, as you've seen, has been terribly inconsistent this season, unable to come up with the big-time throws at the biggest moments. And you've got a Ravens team that is doing well in terms of putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. 4 more, as I said last week, against Baker Mayfield, 31 on the season. So I would go with Baltimore there. In terms of how I would order these plays, I would say Philadelphia would be number 1, Seattle and Baltimore would be number 2 in that second slot, and then San Francisco would be number 3. So that'll do it. Wish you well, and talk to you again soon.